Hi, today Thea and I are going to show you how to do some pulled pork. We're having company this weekend and we got a lot of meat out to do pulled pork with. So we're going to show you how we're going to make that. We're going to start with some Jake's Country Meats boneless pork shoulder roast. So we're going to use about 4 of them today because, you know, we just got quite a crowd coming and it never hurts to have leftover pulled pork. And we have our onion here. We're going to chop that up. And we have some jalapenos that I put in the freezer from the farmer's market last summer. We're gonna use some chopped diced chilies. We got our Lowry's seasoned salt, our pepper, and a few other spices that we might throw in, some garlic, basil, and some thyme. So what we're gonna do first, we got our pork here out of the bags. We're gonna get ready for that, but we're gonna chop up some onions and we're gonna see if Thea can do that today. You think you can? Okay, push hard. There you go. Let's try another one. Oh, we gotta do it a little bit harder. My grandma do a little bit and then you can do it. Push on it. You're kind of strong, aren't you? Onions bother your eyes, don't they? Sometimes they make you cry. Some of these, they're easier.
Because of the jalapeno.
It's because of this, isn't it? You wanna try chopping? Hang on to it. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, not bad. All right, we're done with that. Whew, that was tough, wasn't it? Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna season these roasts up. I'll season them on the tops of these. We're gonna put some pepper. Shake it hard. You might need 2 hands. Get it all over on there. Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah. How about this one here? Can you reach it? A little bit on this sides here. We're gonna just take a little of this seasoned salt and we're just gonna spray it all around on it. You do some and I'll help you, okay? We're gonna use a good amount of it. But
Why
not
does the salt look like yellow, orange?
because it's got seasonings in it. It's got a little garlic in it. It's got a little other things in it too. So we're gonna do both sides of this. You do the salt, keep doing on the salt. Now I'll put some pepper on this side of this. Now you could cut the nets. These are all net wrapped like this, and you could cut those off prior to cooking, but I kind of like to leave them on. Keeps it more solid. There we go. Sprinkle it up in the air like that. Hold it up high. There you go. We can sweep up our mess. This one needs a little bit more.
What one?
This one right here. And this one.
This one needs a little more.
Okay, we're gonna roll it around in this. Even it out a little bit. All the stuff's on the bottom of the pan. There you go. Looks good. Okay, so I think that's good for the salt. The pan here. We're gonna put them in here. I kind of like to leave the fat side up. Boy, that's a nice lean one. I like that fat to drip down in there and then it gets nice and crusty on the top. And we got 4 here. We want all them good juices in here. Some thyme. We'll put a little thyme in there. So I want you to sprinkle that over the top like that, okay? You sprinkle some on there. We have 4 shoulder roasts here, so I've kind of a little doubled everything that I usually put on. But if I was gonna do 1 or 2, I would still use 1 can of the chopped chilies, a couple of jalapenos, but probably only 1 onion. And these were 2 pretty good sized onions, so not so much, just a little bit. Open up your hand, put it over here. Okay, now sprinkle that, take it with your fingers and sprinkle that. This is some basil. We're just going to put that all around on top. Just for a little added flavor. Then we're going to put the chopped chilies on. This will work really good for leftovers for pork tacos or warmed up pulled pork. Now here comes our stinky onion. You want me to do it or you want to do it?
I want you.
It's all right. So we just put the onion all around. Down between the roasts, all along the edges. And that'll cook down and give it really good flavor. And then we're gonna do the same with the jalapeno on the top. I'm gonna put a little
I'm getting away from the onions.
okay. We're gonna put a little freeze-dried garlic on there just for the fun of it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of garlic, so we're just very sparingly. And there is some garlic also in the seasoned salt that I used. So we're ready to go in the oven. I've preheated my oven to 350. I'm probably gonna roast these at 350 for at least 4 hours, maybe longer. Then I'm gonna pull that when it comes out of the oven. I'll show you that, and then it'll be ready for tomorrow. I'll put it in the crock pot in the morning, and when my guests arrive, we'll have the pulled pork ready to go, and I don't have to do it in the morning. All right. All right, we're ready to go. I'm pouring a little bit of water in this just to get it a nice base to start. I don't want to cover it with water. There will be plenty of juice in it when we cook it. Hi, we just pulled the pulled pork out of the oven. It's been in there for about 4.5 hours, and it's looking pretty good. Look at that, it looks fabulous. Look how nice and browned up that is, and how nice and crispy the onions are. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna put it over here to cool it a little bit. It's up at about, I'm gonna scrape some of this off before I take it out because I want that in my juice. The meat is up over 200 degrees, which makes it nice and soft and yet still firm for your pork. You just take a scissors or a knife or whatever you got, and you just trim the nets off like that. That's the good stuff right there, nice crispy stuff on the net. That's the stuff I like to pick at later. They're off. I'm just gonna let that sit and cool for a little bit. I'm gonna strain the grease off of my pan here, and then when we pull the pork, we're gonna put it right back in the juice that's left, and we'll mix that in and keep it nice and moist for our sandwiches. It's kind of cooled off. I might use a knife, I might use a scissors when I'm pulling the pork, but basically I just use my hands. I pick up the pieces of meat. If it's cool enough, I push it, pull it around, see how it goes, pull the fat out as I go. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And then just push it into the juice. Pull out the parts you don't want to keep. And then put that on your tray. See on this piece here, we got some pieces there to pull off. But basically that looks nice and clean. Break it up like that, shred it a little bit. If it's too hot, then wait a little bit. And this is the fat and stuff I like to pull out, but sometimes hidden in that fat could be a little piece of meat. So we don't like to waste it. So I go looking for it. Sometimes a knife helps you scrape some of the fat off of it because it's pretty soft. And then just break it up in pieces. Sometimes I like to break it up. I like it a little bit better than if you cut it up or chop it with a knife. I kind of like the pieces of meat to be more long and shredded. And then because I had quite a bit of juice and stuff in the bottom, I like to rotate this up and get that all mixed in good. And I just use my hands. I know some people don't like to do that, but it's a good way to get it all mixed in nice. The chilies, the chopped chilies, the jalapenos and onions are all stirred in there good like that. And then we'll cool that down and it'll be ready for the crock pot tomorrow morning. Okay, so I got my scale out here and I weighed the fat that I had pulled out, and it is roughly about 14 ounces. So not even a pound of waste out of 4 pork shoulders of 12 to 13 pounds of meat. So that's pretty good. So that's good to know. And then next time when I'm planning a meal for a lot of people, then I kind of know how many pounds and how much waste is going to be on that. Of course, this was boneless, so we weren't dealing with any bones or anything like that. So again, here's a really nice pan of pulled pork, all set for the crock pot. Thanks for joining. Bye.